This is the beginning of the exhibition, which looks at Cy Twombly and Nicolas Poussin, who are of course separated by 3 centuries, but nonetheless share many interesting similarities. So for example, both were around the age of 30 when they first moved to Rome, and subsequently both spent their lives there painting classical mythology, landscape, which you see here, and many, many shared subjects. This seems like a particularly apposite place to start by looking at this comparison, which in many ways is quite surprising. If people think of Poussin, they tend to think of paintings which are very, very carefully controlled and quite cool, whereas Twombly is almost the emotional and stylistic opposite to Poussin. He is known for very, very expressive canvases, which are very gestural and very immediate. So this wall, in a way, is particularly interesting. So here you have Poussin's canvas, A Roman Road, from the collection of Dulwich, which is flanked by these 2 paintings by Twombly from 1985. And so, of course, there's many differences in scale and the handling of the paint, but once you get past that initial appearance, you see many similarities. And I think here, what both artists are trying to do is to really capture Roman landscape and the sort of fleeting, fugitive effects of light playing across that landscape. So for example, in Poussin's canvas, A Roman Road, you have this rectilinear road stretching away from the immediate foreground into the far distance, which is then shaded by these trees and what looks to be the sun setting, so you have this dappled light shining through. And then equally, in Twombly's paintings from 1985, you have him trying to capture these very, very transient effects of light. And so these were painted in Twombly's house in Bassano, in the countryside to the north of Rome. And here you see him using an array of paint. So for example, oil paint, which he's smearing with his fingers, a more liquid acrylic wash, and then finally this sort of misty vapor of spray paint to capture 2 things. One, a sense of the countryside, so this sort of green, lush, verdant tone, and the other is almost a kind of misty, watery, vaporous surface. So in many ways, both painters, in very, very different ways, are trying to paint the same thing.